Y'all, I just spent 20 minutes making a freaking TikTok account just so I could do a scary TikTok video with you guys. So, like, yeah, let's get into it. I'm using my phone to film this. This one at the top. Oh, wait, hold on. I haven't watched this yet. Oh. So I think what's happening is there's a cameraman and he's trying to scare this child. But let's go to the next video because, okay, Skinwalker's caught on camera. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yo, she turned her head like the other way. Ah, that's creepy. Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god. Ah! That's not even creepy, that's just disturbing.
This is one of the scariest videos I have ever seen. They claim they're providing care for a woman that hasn't... This is one of the scariest videos I have ever seen. They claim they're providing care for a woman that hasn't gotten out of bed for over 2 years.
Okay, I'm on the third night in a house. I provide care for a lady who has not gotten out of bed in 2 years. Okay, it's kind of disturbing, you know. I thought there was like another part back here though. Like,
this is one of the scariest videos I have ever seen. They claim they're providing care for a woman that hasn't gotten out of bed for over 2 years, and what happens next is absolutely bone-chilling. Is this a skinwalker or something else? I honestly don't know. All I know is it's terrifying. Take a look.
so blurry. What are these comments? I claim no negative energy from this video. I feel like I'm watching Life of Luxury right now. Wi-Fi scratch freak. Oh, heck no.
Whatever this is, it's honestly one of the most terrifying clips I've ever seen. The viewer claims that it's just a woman that possibly has sundowners, but something about it just seems absolutely terrifying. Let me know what you guys think this might be down in the comments below. This is one of the...
Why you shouldn't laugh nonstop. This video has shocked millions of people. It shows a young woman in a red dress celebrating with her family and friends at a restaurant. At first, everything seemed perfect. Live music, great food, and a lively atmosphere. Everyone was laughing, talking, and enjoying themselves. But then, things took a terrifying turn. Someone told a joke that sent her into uncontrollable laughter. At first, she didn't even realize anything was wrong. Tears were streaming down her face, and between gasps of laughter, she managed to say, "I can't breathe." Still, she kept smiling. Her friends thought she was exaggerating and didn't take her words seriously. But soon they noticed something was really wrong. She was actually struggling for air. According to her family, she had no history of asthma or any other breathing problems. An ambulance was called right away, but tragically...
That's not even creepy, you know.
Daisy and Deacon, make the noise, see if the tree will talk to you. Did you hear that? Right, say it again, see if it'll talk to you again. Did you hear that?
If you guys want to go watch the video,
There's a tree herder.
TikTok account.
He's doing it again. Make a noise, Daisy. See if he talks to you. It did. Do it again.
Okay, this is just...
So tell me why there's a creature living in Central Park, New York City, and no one seems to know about it. Before I begin, if you have a horror story that you want me to read, follow my Instagram that's linked in my bio and send me your horror stories through my DMs. So one of my followers named Mark sent in this story, and he lives on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. And he told me that if there's one thing to know about him, is that he loves running. Jogging clears his mind, keeps him sharp, and in a city like New York, it's one of the only ways he finds peace in all of the chaos. But Mark told me he also knows the city has its shadows. He's not naive. He knows about the late night street characters, the weird encounters, the people you learn to cross the street to avoid. Living in New York basically means always being cautious, and more importantly, always being aware. So one night after a long day, Mark told me he decided to run through Central Park.
This is true, y'all.
The sun was setting, spilling the last bit of orange across the skyline, and he thought it'd be good to clear his head before heading back to his apartment. He told me at first the park felt calm. The air was cool, the city sounds muffled by the trees, and every so often he'd pass someone else walking with a flashlight or with a dog. But the deeper he jogged into the trails, the fewer people he saw. The sky dimmed fast, the lights barely lit the paths, and eventually the only thing guiding him was the beam of his flashlight. He told me he reached the area near one of the small ponds, and that's when it happened.
Creepy.
Mark told me he slowed his pace as his light cut across the grass near the water, and he saw something. At first, he thought it was a person, someone standing off to the side, hunched forward. But he told me as his eyes adjusted, the details made his stomach drop. The figure was slumped over, pale, breathing heavy, like each inhale rattled in his chest. He told me it didn't look like it had clothes on. Its skin was so light it almost seemed gray underneath the moonlight. And then he told me the detail that still makes him shiver. He told me he swore he saw drool dripping from its mouth, glistening in the light, and it didn't move. It just stood there, slouched and twitching. In this moment, Mark froze in place, and his mind tried to rationalize what it could be. Maybe it was someone drunk, or maybe someone homeless. Maybe just another weird NYC moment, but his gut screamed otherwise. Mark told me that was his cue to run. Without another glance, Mark turned around and sprinted down the trail. He told me his chest burned, his legs pumped, and the only thing he could focus on was getting out of that park, getting back to light, to people, to safety. And that's when Mark told me he heard it. He heard footsteps, heavy, fast behind him. Something was chasing him and he did not dare look back. But he told me every part of him felt it closing in on him. And then he told me he heard the sound. It was an unnatural sound. The best... So tell me why there's a creature living in Central Park, New York City, and no one seems to know about it. Before I begin, if you have a horror story that you want me to read,
I only have like 10 more minutes left. But if you want to go watch it, that's the video. If you guys want to go watch it, it's on TikTok. It's by this guy, and it's this. So yeah, I'm not gonna watch the whole thing. So. Okay, let's rewatch this. This is creepy. does that. Anyways, I don't know why I'm saying anyway. Oh my god, that is so sad. Oh my gosh.
This chilling video has already shocked millions of people online. In it,
It's a
we see
prank,
two
y'all. I
teens.
saw this.
Every month the parade. Every month the parade
my
passes
gosh.
through my town.
What's the point in this? Okay, I don't know what she did.
Every month the parade passes through my town, and we're not allowed to look at it. I've lived in Arizona the past 15 years of my life, but I used to live in a small town in the middle of nowhere. I couldn't even tell you what side of the country it's on, or if it's even in the United States. The only thing I know for certain is the name of the town, Point Pine. I lived in Point Pine for the first 10 years of my life, but after my 10th birthday, we moved out of the town, and my parents never spoke of it again. They were trying to forget about that town, and I didn't blame them. Since moving out of that town, Point Pine has not been mentioned again. Well, until now, when I'm telling you about it. I want to preface this with saying that when I lived there, all of these things seemed totally normal as residents. But now looking back, it's kind of scary. One peculiar thing was the Point Pine Bakery. Whenever you went there, Mr. Terrence, the owner, already knew what you were going to order. There was a rumor spread by the kids around town that he was a magician that could read your mind. Also, whenever you paid for your baked goods, you had to tip him in clothing, usually being something that you grew out of. There was an old box up by the register filled with old baby clothes and shoes. That was one of the weird things, but it's not odd at all compared to the other things. Every year on your birthday, you had to get blood work done. To this day, I still don't know what the point of that was. Another weird rule was everyone had to be up at 8:13 a.m. There were even speakers for an alarm that would go off at 8:13 a.m. all over town, like some kind of amusement park. When those alarms went off, parents would wake their children as fast as possible as if it was like a fire or something. But certainly one of the weirdest things that happened in Point Pine was the Point Pine Monthly Parade. It happened every month without fail, and it was never on the same date. Each month, a student from Pine Point was chosen to be in the parade. The weird thing about this parade is that we weren't allowed to watch it go by. Not on the streets, not from the windows, and not even on television. We always knew when the parade was about to start because it always started the exact same way. You would hear a chorus of voices, like a church choir. The melody wasn't familiar to me. It sounded like it could be a nursery rhyme or something similar to that. Once you heard the first note, you had 5 minutes to get
This is
inside.
actually
But one
interesting.
year, around 4th of July, me and my friend Lee
Sorry
decided
if I'm
we were
not
going to
talking.
break the rules and watch the parade. Which, now that I think about it, I'm surprised more kids didn't try to do this, because when you tell a kid not to do something, obviously they're going to do it. But we didn't know where it was going to be, when it was going to start, or the path it was going to take around town, so we had to just wait. Around the 3rd week of the month, we heard the chorus start. Me and Lee looked at each other and darted off into the trees. Everyone else near us raced to the nearest building. This year, my sister's friend Reed was chosen to work the parade. We were crouching in the bushes when we heard the chorus of voices get louder and louder, and then Lee said, "Dude, I see it." We tried to straighten up to see what he was seeing, but I was always a short kid and I couldn't see over the brush. Then Lee said, "Oh no," and covered his head and ducked down, hiding from them. I yelled to Lee, I can't see anything. Then Lee goes, shh, they might see us. I froze with fear and I stopped moving until they were about to pass right in front of us. Then Lee dove to the ground. Lee screams, oh no, and gets in a cradle-like position. Then he covers his head with his hands. I looked at Lee and asked, what? I saw her. I saw that girl, he yelled. That's when I realized he was talking about Reed. I tried to get up to see, but Lee pulled me down to the ground. Then he looked at me and he said, you don't want to see it. I think this was the first time in all the years I've known Lee that he looked genuinely terrified. I turned my back on the parade and looked at Lee. I'd had enough. I asked him, what did you see? He looked at me and said those things. They're eating her, but she doesn't even care. When Lee told me this, he started crying. At this point, part of me didn't even want to see what was going on with the parade. That's when I heard the singing get louder. They were coming towards us.
That's cool.
I shut my eyes, but the voices continued for a few more minutes. At one point, Lee started wailing. I kept my eyes shut the entire time. After that, it continued along and made its way through town. Once we started to hear everyone get out of their hiding spaces, I leaned down to help Lee get up. But when he stood up, he kept his head down. Lee, what's wrong? I asked. I could hear him sniffling. So I asked him again, Lee? He finally responded as he lifted his head. It took my eyes. I will never forget that moment when he looked up at me with no eyes. The day after that, me and my family moved out of Point Pine. I never knew what
so creepy.
That day. Just minutes after we left, my parents
It's probably fake though.
insisted. And as far as I know, Lee was the only person to ever see what happened at that parade.
AI.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
This one actually kind of looks like you.
I don't see it.
The tree? Its eyes moved. I'm serious, dude. The little figurine's eyes moved. Why are you always in that?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Oh?
This one actually kind of looks like you.
I don't see it.
The tree? Its eyes moved. I'm serious, dude. The little
If you look, if you like
eyes moved.
rewind
Why are
and
you always
look,
messing with me?
like right here, you can see it's like eyes move.
Do not listen to this scary story at nighttime or right before you're going to bed. Because I love you so much, I'm giving you this warning because what the fuck? So typically I listen to a lot of Spanish scary stories because I like translating them for you guys. I typically listen to these when my husband's asleep next to me and I'm just like scrolling story through story, right? I will say when I listened to this story, I got full body chills, right? But I was like, okay, cool, I'm saving this. This is gonna be a good ass story, and I just kept going. A lot of the times you guys ask me in my comments, like, how do you sleep after reading all these stories? And I'm gonna be honest, I sleep perfectly well. Like, typically I'm not scared, and I wasn't scared last night, which is why it's so weird that I had a dream about this fucking story. I guess this story really impacted me more than I thought. So I'm gonna translate the story for you guys, and then I'm gonna tell you the dream that I had at the very end. So there was this girl, she was around 15 or 16 years old, and she lived with her mom. Unfortunately, her mom lost her job and they had no money, so they ended up losing their house as well. So one of the mom's family members tells them that they have a house that they can live in because they didn't want them to be homeless, but unfortunately this house was like away from civilization. This house was in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by like hills and mountains, but since the mom and daughter had nowhere else to go, they accepted the offer and decided to go live in this house. They end up going to the house, and when they get there, they notice the strangest thing ever. Right in front of the door is this big ass tree. Like, the tree was so big that when they would try to open the front door, it would be hitting that tree. So the mom thought it was really strange that the tree would be like right in front of the front door. So the people who actually gave them a ride to that house noticed the tree as well, and they told the mom that if she wanted to, they can also help her remove that tree so that it doesn't stop the front door from opening. And she agreed, so they decided to do it then and there. When they removed that tree, On the roots of like where the tree was growing, they see like a skeleton of a baby. The mom says that it looked like maybe someone had buried the baby a very long time ago because the bones of the baby skeleton were just being eaten by the roots of that tree. She said that they didn't end up telling anybody about it. She just, had the tree removed, they saw that, and they just like moved on with their lives. Time passes, and in this house, it's a 2-bedroom home. It's a little small, but it does have a hallway that leads to both of the rooms. Both the mom and the daughter start hearing noises in the hallway, and they realize that it sounds like a little baby. She even said it doesn't sound like an animal, it didn't sound like a kid, there was no like steps walking, it sounded like a baby playing in the hallway. So the mom almost felt guilty because she felt like something had happened there. I mean, they found the baby bones, and she just felt really bad that maybe the baby ghost was there. So she started leaving out baby toys in the hallway. I already have chills. So after leaving the toys in the hallway, the mom says that they would then start hearing this baby playing with those specific toys that were left out for it. She mentions that nothing scary would happen, but she did feel that over time, the baby's energy was growing and growing. So one day, the mom and daughter get into a really big fight. And I mean, they were screaming at each other, like they were going at it. And the daughter ends up going to her room and like slamming the door. And mom also goes to her room and slams the door. So when the mom goes into her room, slams the door, and sits alone, she realizes that maybe she was a little tough on her daughter. Mom felt so bad and so guilty that she's like, I'm gonna go to her room and I'm gonna, apologize and let's try to talk through it. So the mom goes and she knocks on her daughter's door, and of course the daughter didn't answer because she was pissed. After the daughter not answering her door, the mom still decided to open the door, and she starts off with, look, I really need to talk to you. And then she stays silent. The daughter was laying on her bed and she was like, what? That's when the mom was like, get up and come with me. And the daughter's like, what? And the mom's like, get up and come with me. The daughter's like, I thought you wanted to talk to me. And she goes, shut up, get up and come with me. So once the daughter realizes that something is going on because the mom was really seriously telling her to get up, she gets up. Her mom grabs her by the hand, they leave her bedroom, close her bedroom door, and the mom takes her back to her own room. So the mom explains that when she opened her daughter's door and told her, I need to talk to you, she looks at her daughter that's laying on the bed, and she sees a baby on top of her daughter's chest. She says that the baby was not a normal baby. When the mom was telling her daughter, get up and come with me, that baby would hold on to her daughter even tighter, looking at the mom and smiling at her. Oh my god, look at my heart. I think the reason why I imagine these stories in my head, so I'm seeing this shit like a movie in my brain. Can you imagine? She walked in there feeling so guilty that she got into a fight with her mom, tries to talk to her, and fucking sees a baby on her daughter's chest as she's telling her, get up and let's go.
Heck no.
Baby hugs her daughter tighter while looking at her smiling. They left that house that night and never looked back. Didn't go back to investigate. Didn't want to know what the fuck happened there, because at that point, it wasn't just a little innocent baby ghost, because she saw a baby, but it was not a normal looking baby. Now for my dream. So in my dream, I am laying in bed. Leave it to me to take naps in my dream too. And next to me is one of my exes, because my dream wasn't scary enough. And in my dream, I am waking up because I'm feeling something crawling up my body. And when this thing finally gets to the very top, I see a scary looking baby with fucking crazy teeth. And you know how like in your dreams you can't fight? It's like slow motion. Well, as soon as I saw that face, my hand was like trying to push it away. I mean, the baby was like biting my hand. And I was like, what do I do? Because I'm moving so slowly. I was pushing that baby towards my ex, who was still asleep, because what the fuck? Take him, not me. But this baby wouldn't give up. It kept trying to come at me, and to the point where I'm slowly moving my fucking head away. It doesn't sound as scary, but like, it was fucked up in my dream, okay? So the baby's still crawling, and once it's like face to face to me, I guess I got so spooked that I woke myself up. All it had to do was go to my ex, like, why the fuck would you want me? But no, I got really scared. I woke up and I was like, what the fuck was I dreaming about right now? Anyway, I hope you don't have dreams about this story. Do not listen to this scary story.
Okay,
I'm giving you this warning because what the
that is all. Sorry I didn't talk much, but I was just like really into